But the family, I mean, they were very bullish on, whether we were losing money. The idea was to preserve, one day build a massive museum on Raj Kapoor. We lost 95% of those props and costumes. And I mean, there was so much, so much, so much preserved with so much love over the years. I'm telling you, I don't think there's any producer, anyone that preserves so much with so much love and care.
And is it true that your mom would sit on one side of the table and the other corner of the table would be Ranbir's dad, and the brother and sister, despite all the love that they had, they would be screaming across the table at each other?
Honestly, shooting the people was easier than shooting the food because you need to have multiple dishes because you also want to, Armand put so much care, and love, and the food was so important to everybody in the family that the visuals had to reflect that.
Hi, Smriti. We met a couple of years ago during the Romantics. How are you doing?
Good, good. Nice to see you again.
Arman, how are you, brother?
Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
I want to start at a point that I've been wondering about. Was it easy to convince all the Kapoors that this is going to be a film thing? Normally, you guys can be as boisterous as you want without cameras around, except your own cell phones, your own mobile phones, Arman. But the fact that all of them were going to be filmed, was there opposition to it from some people? Did it take some convincing, or did they all unanimously say yes?
Well, I think the intent that we went in with, and I think we gave it a lot of thought before speaking to the family. I think celebrating Raj Kapoor Saab's 100th birth year, and bringing food into the forefront, because that's something that we've celebrated. Those traditions, values, things that we've grown up unanimously together with, is something that they instantly connected with, because we've all had those memories in different forms, right? Some are older than me, some are younger. We've all had different memories with a particular household, family members. And I think once our vision was very clear, they were very happy and aligned to do this project.
Smriti, as opposed to the Romantics, this is just a one episode, or like a one full episode, right? And you've got to put all
Yeah,
the information in that. Is that trickier
yeah.
to do because you have less time on hand as opposed to doing multiple episodes, deep diving into human beings? Talk about the difficulty of navigating that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this project was very different than the Romantics in that the intention was always about to focus on this one family tradition. It wasn't meant to be a deep dive into the Kapoor family and all the generations and the legacy and the films and all of that. It wasn't that that wasn't the scope of it from the very beginning. So that made it a bit easier to sort of focus on this one tradition, the family dynamics, and how this tradition of the gathering and the food, the specific food that is really important and nostalgic for the family, what that can tell us about their family dynamic over generations. So it was a different sort of approach to Dynasty, than we did in the Romantics. But I think just as, fun and interesting and revealing. So yeah, it's always challenging, when you have to cut things out, especially when there's so much great material. Um, but I think it helped to just have the focus of this be the tradition of gathering for these big meals.
I find it really fascinating, Arman, that before the Deonar cottage was sold, you managed to get a lot of your grandfather's memorabilia, and you've literally created a museum out of those pieces of your granddad's life. What to you is dearest amongst the stuff that you've kept back?
Every piece, actually, I'm staring at a couple of them in this room. I have a few small pieces over here. So I think so I didn't meet my grandfather. He passed away 2 years before I was born. Uh, my mom, filled that void big time all these years. Uh, and obviously you've heard so much, right? You've heard so much growing up. Uh, of course, his cinema legacy, but also as a family man, and so many emotional, loving stories from my mom. So, because I've heard so much, I always felt like, holding on closer and doing more research. It obviously gives you that ability to learn more about the person. So when we did, sadly, we had a fire at RK Studio. We lost the whole family for years. Were preserving In fact, shoots weren't happening, right? Because shoots would, move more towards Goregaon and in all those areas. So Chembur wasn't really a hub to film. But the family, I mean, they were very bullish on, whether we were losing money. The idea was to preserve, one day build a massive museum on Raj Kapoor. We lost 95% of those props and costumes. And I mean, there was so much, so much, so much preserved with so much love over the years. I'm telling you, I don't think there's any producer, anyone that preserves so much with so much love and care. But it went into flames one day. And when I heard of that, I mean, I was a bit moved as well. And whatever, even burnt pieces, broken pieces, anything I could find, I kind of repurposed. And the idea is to obviously, preserve this for our future generations. So I have a son now, so he can learn something about his family. And it's not only Raj Kapoor, my grandfather. This has taught me to kind of preserve anything and everything. My mom gave me a sorry, I'm going on about this, but my mom gave me a small jacket of Raj Kapoor's when he was 4 years old, and that was the first like Indian outfit he wore. I still have that in my cabinet here, and I said when my son's 4, I'm going to make him wear it. It just makes you feel closer to that person you haven't met. So.
And is it true that your mom would sit on one side of the table, and the other corner of the table would be Ranbir's dad, and the brother and sister, despite all the love that they had, they would be screaming across the table at each other?
It's a typical Punjabi household. It's chaos. And I mean, yeah, food is one element, but it's just and arguments over food. I know my food better. You go there. Don't tell me what to do. It's like it was chaotic, and that generation was live wire. I mean, the one thing is that if this film was 5 years ago, that family I really miss, and I wish, getting that generation in this setting would just be so amazing. But yeah, it's chaotic. I mean, they're always arguing and fighting, but it's all love. I mean, you'll be upset with each other, but you can't like sleep without saying I'm sorry and I love you. So that's the vibe in the
Smriti,
family.
who's the most fun to film? Who's the most fun amongst all the Kapoors?
I would honestly say Rima Jain.
Yeah.
She was so I think she really embodies what Armaan is talking about of that previous generation. And it just made it so much fun for me, to film with her because she just is the life of the party. And so I think I would definitely say her.
Well, they always say, Arman, that the best man for the job is a woman. And your mom is now literally the patriarch of the family, the matriarch, patriarch all rolled into one. And she seems to be enjoying that.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I'll tell you what, it's been, I mean, with this film, of course, it took me actually a lot of convincing to get her into this film because she's someone although she's my mom, she's stayed away from, the film world
Yeah,
and film camp.
cheers.
So someone I actually had to really be like, Mom, please just do this for me because I know you're great and you'll be amazing on this because you're just so overly uninhibited and I mean, the rest of the family were as well. But yeah, I mean, talking about the whole matriarch concept, I mean, Krishna, my grandmom, my grandfather passed away long back. So she was like this pillar of strength and values and traditions, which I saw growing up. And one of the reasons for making this film was, seeing this woman who was so graceful. She was an amazing hostess, really, very diplomatic, keeping, family together. And I think that is something my mom, I mean, the entire family seen that and they all have done that and the only my mom has really done that in this generation and that's what I've seen and for me I feel responsible in my generation. I think all of us cousins feel the responsibility to carry those traditions and legacy going ahead.
Shooting food is an entirely different thing, isn't it, Smriti? And you had a fair amount to
Oh,
film
yes.
because I saw lots of close ups of the courses. And then I think after course number three, Arman just gave up and he just went the old fashioned Kapoor way and put everything in handis on the table, which I thought was one of the coolest points. But yeah, shooting the food, challenging.
Very challenging, very challenging. Honestly, shooting the people was easier than shooting the food because you need to have multiple dishes because you also want to, Armand put so much care, and love, and the food was so important to everybody in the family that the visuals had to reflect that, So this, you have a moment when the ghee is glistening and the cheese is melty and, all of those things before things start to, on camera, at least still taste delicious 5 minutes later, but on camera, it starts to look less delicious. So we had to do a lot of, very quick, we had to have multiple versions of things so that way we could film it properly. But yeah, it was a challenge to film the food, but well worth it, I thought.
So, Arman, I know that the next one is the big Christmas one that Kunal Prithvi Kapoor, I call him that, that Kunal Prithvi Kapoor is going to host. But who's put their hand up for the next one? I love the fact that at the end you said, this has got to carry on. This has just got to happen.
Yeah, I think, see, we all are taking this forward in a smaller manner. I mean, back then, like you go to the bungalow days, was like it was a feast every day. I think, I mean, for us, I mean, whether it's Diwali, whether it's a big function, small function, we're always getting together. So there's no like, again, food is just a bahana to really bring everyone together, and we love our food, right? So we have a family chat. So if someone messages, we have biryani and pulao and jangli mas and this, सब पहुंच जाएंगे. It's a food obsessed family, so it just needs that one message, that one trigger, and they'll figure their dates and पहुंच जाएंगे. So we don't know what the next one is, but soon and more often. And I think that's what I think we in our generation are trying to do, is meet as often as we can, and spend more time with each other.
I love the model of the Deonar cottage. You want to just give out credits? Did you get an architect to come in and build in that model? Because lots of architects, before they go on ground to build commercial or residential property, they actually figure out models like that.
Yeah, there was, I mean, really hats off to the team that, and to my production designer who got the right set of, architects to build this. I saw the work in progress for, those 3 months. It took 3 months to build. And I give full credit to Smriti, I mean, she was like this is just such a cool thing to put together. And yeah, it's a physical memory that you'll always have with you. And I promise you, I mean, I can't explain this on call. I don't think it'll do justice until you really see the physical piece, and like the way certain things were like reconstructed, everything to the T. And they're so tiny, right? The actual swing, for example, is that large, and then it's been reconstructed with so much detail and love and care. Yeah, it's something remarkable.
I was astonished seeing it. I was astonished seeing it. Just like, yeah, every tree and every painting and piece of furniture was so meticulously recreated from photographs and everything. And initially when we started this project, Armaan and I were hoping that we could film this last dinner at Deonar Cottage, but it didn't work out with the timing and the construction and everything. So we had the idea that we have to bring the cottage to the family, back to the family. And so part of that was all of the swing and everything that Armaan had saved, the furniture from the garden and recreating the garden. But then this scale model is something that will now, like generations later, the Armand's kids and all of, the young children in the family will be able to see it and be able to visualize what it was like. Now the next generation is the only generation that will have never seen their narcotics, but now they have it, in their family forever.
Who did you miss the most, Arman? Do you miss Shamiji? Do you miss Rishi Kapoor?
All of them. I mean,
All of them.
it's been 4 5 years. Too many losses in our family. I mean, 2018, my grandma passed away, and then uh, in order, Ritu, Rishi, Rajiv, my Mausa Rajan, who is Ritu's husband. Too many losses too quickly. I mean, miss all of them. I mean, I see it in my mom's face, and all of us, right? There's a certain void, but I think they've left some strong memories, to cherish and carry on, like traditions and legacy. And wherever they are, I'm sure they just be like, hey, you can't be upset, be crying. You just be that, Punjabi self, and like carry on. I mean, their voices were so loud and strong. They were also there was just strong characters, all of them, and wherever they are. I mean, I think this film also is not. I mean, Raj Kapoor, of course, but the emotions are just for people who are not with us and with us, and for everybody's families around the world. So.
My last two questions. Question number one is your favorite corner or room or space in the Deonar cottage?
Kitchen. In any home, my home, Deonar cottage. If I come to your home, the kitchen, everywhere kitchen.
But Deonar in particular, the kitchen.
Oh my God, I promise you, every person. Sorry, I cut you off because you had a second question. But we would reach and enter the kitchen. My grandmom would call. There was, the intercom system. Like, Armaan कहाँ है? आया है कि नहीं? घर आया है कि नहीं आया है? हाँ, वो बैठा है, वो सूंघ रहा है खाना, कुछ चख रहा है खाना, कुछ बना रहा है खाना, बैठा है. So it's that thing. We would just enter the kitchen first, spend half an hour, 40 minutes, and then go wherever else. Kitchen for sure.
And my last one is about Junglee Kitchen. Good on you. That is a wonderful homage to your grandmom's recipes, all that she's left behind. I love that she's handwritten them, partly in Hindi, partly in English, in Devanagari script, which is so beautiful. The touch of ink filling paper is something we're losing with so much of typing. So, what's a recipe I should order? What's your
You
favorite?
please tell me yakni pulao, jungli mas, butter chicken, dal makhani. I'll send you whatever you want. Please tell me what you like. I mean, it's jungli mas was a very big thing in our family growing up. All of it. I mean, yeah, it's something that it gives me. I love food so much. I mean, love eating and I love feeding, and that's what I've seen my grandmom do. So that one thing with Jungly Kitchen, yes, but Nani's bite. My memory of my grandmom is sitting with her and feeding me with her hands. I cannot recreate that bite. I can recreate everything else, recipes, but that bite had so much love, and I just. My dream is to feed people with that love that she fed me with, and Jungly Mas definitely is something I'll send you, and a bunch of other things as well from Jungly Kitchen.
Congratulations, Smriti. Congratulations, Armaan. Everybody who's watching, listening. Dinner with the Kapoors on Netflix is an absolute must watch. Uh, Lots of laughs, great fun, great food to salivate on. And overall, it just leaves you with a lot of emotion, a lot of joy in your heart. So please go watch it, give it a lot of love. Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank
Cheers.
you so much, Rishi. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
94.3. One World, your station. Radio 1.